That was before.
Okay.
Jake was pretty sober by the time that they got to Snoop.
Oh,
Because they took that. Yeah. We skipped the whole scene with Roger.
Oh, they did go and see Roger.
Yeah.
Dude, this movie, it's one that you're going to want to watch several times. But yes, there was Roger.
Yeah.
Roger was after the technical next.
Is a break.
Yeah, so
is a short break.
So the diner, and then they go get the money from the kids.
That one
and
bust. And
they
then
go visit a guy named Roger, who is seemingly a friend of Alonzo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just kind of talk, and he's like, "Oh, hey, here's the new guy," and kind of razzes him a little bit.
Yeah.
And Jake is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty still high or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Never been on PCP. I don't know what's it like being on PCP.
Snoop. I have no idea.
Can you share with? Oh, okay. He's never been on PCP.
Let me
supposedly.
From what I hear, no, I really have no clue.
Don't do drugs, kids. I think we said that in one of our other. Don't do drugs.
We have to have.
No, you literally opened up the show with.
Oh yeah.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah, I did.
And so this scene, break it down for us, man. So after Roger, it establishes his character as Roger, somebody that Lonzo knows. Mm-hmm. They've known for a long time.
Another like friend,
they have
informant,
and then they're driving over, I guess, to do the deal with Snoop.
Yeah,
and he's still kind of he's still high, looking out the window as they're driving by.
Yeah, that's where he's like, man, I didn't know that you liked the hard stuff. And then they go to, I think that's when they go to the restaurant with the other bigwigs.
No, not yet.
What happens?
So he's looking out the window. He's still pretty messed up. Mm-hmm. And then he sees that girl.
Oh,
in the alleyway.
Yeah, she's getting assaulted in the alleyway. And Hoyt has Alonzo completely just like stop the car. And he hops out and he goes and stops this assault, which is, it's so like unprofessionally done. And he's
what do you mean?
Two men in an alleyway trying to assault this woman, and this young girl, she's like 14. Yeah. Yeah.
So she's ditching school.
Yeah, and Hoyt's like throwing punches on these dudes, and Alonzo backs up the car, gets out of the alley, lights a cigarette, hangs out for a couple minutes, watches Hoyt getting his ass kicked. Hoyt eventually cuffs both of the dudes, and they're just on the ground, and Alonzo walks up and is like, nice going, man.
Yeah.
They definitely had you going for a minute.
He's like, man, you got mad squabbles, boy. I think it's
yeah.
And then he's like, oh, thanks for the help, man.
Yeah, and Alonzo basically just takes the money out of both of the guys' pockets and is like, all right, get out of here.
Yeah, he takes their money. I think he whatever drugs they have on him, he destroys it.
Yeah.
He
broke the pipe.
He lets the girl go. He says, "Hey, look.
Yeah, go get your cousins to take care of you."
Yeah, because she mentions her cousins are part of
the cartel.
Yeah, in L.A. Hillside 13.
Yeah, exactly.
She says so her family is part of the gangs.
Yeah.
And he said, "Look, go home.
Yeah,
just get safe.
Get them to cover you.
We'll take care of this."
Yeah. And then Hoyt's like, "Why aren't we taking these guys in?" He's like, "You can go take these guys in. We got bigger things to deal with."
I know. And so again, it's one of those things where he's headbutting with Hoyt is headbutting with Lonzo about ideologies and what should be done and what's right. But this is one of those scenes where Lonzo, like, you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's freaking nuts, because he like destroys this guy. Mm-hmm. He literally he's threatened him with a knife. he has both of his guns just in his face, and he's just playing around, rubbing them together. Like, come on, man, you calling me a liar? You said this earlier. You told me to, and all these things. And then he literally puts his guns together and pistol whips him in the balls. And then he's like, all right, Jake, let's go. And Jake is pretty pissed after that. And then, of course...
But then they get in the car, and Alonzo's like, so that headlock thing that they told you not to do in the academy, that's That's by the book, right?
And then he's like,
he's like, sometimes you have to do what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's what he makes a point.
And Alonzo's like,
exactly.
yeah,
exactly. And
it's almost like the whole day. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
But they bump heads, and he's like, those guys need to be in prison, and he's like, no, look, they're already having a bad day. They didn't get to rape that girl. We got rid of their drugs. We took their money. Like, what more do you want? He said, probably her cousins are gonna come smoke these guys. What more do you want? He's like, justice. He's like, is that not justice?
Yeah,
he's like,
street justice.
And he's like, what's wrong? And Lonzo's like, what's wrong with that? Mm-hmm. he's like, oh, so you just want the animals to wipe themselves? He's like, God willing, let them just wipe each other out. And so, but again, it's a cool moment, I think, in that scene. Is that no matter what, he's even in their headbutting, Alonzo's still like, he's still very much like, I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah. But he takes a moment and he talks to Jake and he says, hey.
Oh, this all happens before Roger.
Okay. Yeah. So he says, no matter what I say, you did the right thing. Yeah. Alonzo does say that. So to me, to be honest with you, man, that I think just in real life as a person, mm-hmm. it takes a lot of self-awareness to admit when you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And even a guy like Alonzo, who's very like high on his own self, like he's the man, it shows that there's still a level of, hey man, he recognizes right from wrong. And he says, hey, look, no matter what I say to you, dude, you did the right thing. You protected that innocent girl and you helped her out. Yeah. And he admits that. To me, that's a big moment, okay? And then, I don't know. I just love that, that mm-hmm. whole exchange. Every scene, man, it's so good. So after this, they go to Rogers. After Rogers...
something that happens at Rogers is Roger talks about Alonzo's vacation in Vegas. And Alonzo's like, it's not a big deal.
It is a okay. Alonzo says it's not a big deal. It's a very big deal.
I already got it taken care of. He mentions that the Russians are after him because of something that happened in Vegas, but we don't get told anything else from that point. And Alonzo's like, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
He's like, I got it handled, which he doesn't.
Yeah. And then all that happens, and then Alonzo says, hey, you just smoked PCP. And then they go talk to the big time detectives.
Guys, forgive us a little bit here. There's a lot that goes on in this movie.
I got the synopsis up now, so now we're following properly.
Good. Yeah, so there's a lot that goes on in the movie, but I freaking love it because there's so much character development. It
is really nice.
You really get to see Denzel Washington's character.
Well, and that there is actually so in writing and in storytelling, there's an A story and a B story. And in this one, it's like, hey, there's not enough time for an A story and a B story, right? Yeah. There's still an A story and a B story. We just don't get to know what the B story is, or we don't get to see the A story actually until the very end. We think that we're following Jake the entire time. We're actually following Alonzo. So the B story is the training day. The A story is everything that happened right before, all the way to the end of the actual movie.
Yes, it started before we are introduced to the character.
Which is kind of neat. It's a neat way to do things.
I do.
But as you were saying, when they were talking about how Hoyt was freaking out because he's going to fail a drug test and whatever, Alonzo's like, they're not going to drug test you because they're on our side. Like everybody that you're worried about works below me.
That's Alonzo's thing is like, I know people. Yeah. Whether it's his informants, whether it's his crew, whether it's higher ups, which we see later on. He meets with the three wise men, as he calls them.
Or people that are scared to get booked by him.
Yeah. He's like, look, I got a buddy at booking or whatever. They're not going to test you. He gives me a heads up when they're going to do the random drug testing. Like,
we know a week in advance.
Yeah. Or he'll, it's a non-issue for him is basically what he's saying. So Alonso's that's the guy. He knows people.
And that's exactly when he goes and shows him the people and walks in and is like, these are my buddies. And then has Jake go and sit down and those guys are like, sorry, we don't talk to dead men.
Is that before or after he takes him to his
He does it after.
Okay, so they actually go to.
Oh, I guess it actually isn't telling me, but
Yeah, because at one point, he does take a trip with Jake to where he. Well,
oh yeah. No, this is in order. This is in the right order. They go to lunch, and then they
lunch at his side girls, Eva Mendes, by the way,
well they go to lunch with the big time judges,
the three wise men.
yeah, the wise men, and they talk about Vegas again, and
which
Alonzo,
they reveal that
yeah, he killed a Russian higher up.
Yeah, who turned out to be somebody.
Yeah.
And now they're demanding Alonzo pay them $1 million.
Yeah, by I think it was midnight.
By midnight that day.
Yeah.
So we start the day at 6. He's got until midnight that same day, or I guess technically the next day, in order to settle his debt with the Russians.
Yeah.
And so at this point, actually, man, dude, I'm sorry. There's so much going on in this movie. Before they meet the three wise men, they actually go to.
They have to have gone.
They go to the fake
Alonzo's
warrant
place first.
They go to the fake warrant.
They go to Sandman's house.
Yeah. And basically, he has a Chinese menu. He presents it as a warrant. He goes in. He rips through some stuff. He grabs some more money. Steals money from this lady, essentially.
Yep.
And then,
then they dip.
Yeah, and it so happens to be. If you're into music, I think it's, what did I say? Macy Gray, I think.
I think it's Macy Gray.
Is the one actually. She also calls him a rookie.
It is Macy Gray, yeah.
You're a rookie. That's what she says to his face. She's like, come on, lady, give me a break. So basically, Alonzo robs this woman.
Yeah.
And before they go in, obviously, he gets the police jackets on. So everybody knows. Important piece that doesn't seem like much. He pops the trunk. He has a bunch of like appliances, kitchen appliances,
boxes of stuff.
And I think Jake even asked about it. He's like, "Oh, that's just some stuff. Give out to the neighborhood or whatever, or what." And so shuts the trunk. That's a small thing that becomes important later.
Yeah, and
so they
go to
the three wise men.
No, they go to the barrio, where he's like, "Don't ever come here without me."
Oh yes,
and then they have the little break.
I guess
then they go to.
I guess technically that's officially lunch because he gets food. From his side girl Eva Mendes, very awesome actress, very attractive as well. But basically that's his side girl, and he has a kid with her.
Yeah.
It's in the worst part of town. So all these things are so. That's what I love about this. Every single thing in this movie is important. Yes. There's some things in movies that you just see and they'll introduce a character or a theme or an idea, and then it doesn't amount to anything, and you're just like, what the heck? This is an important place. So this is a place where even Jake knows. He's like, whoa, where are you going?
Why are we going here?
Like when they start to drive in there, Jake is like, no, why are we going here?
Yeah.
And Alonzo says like, hey, don't ever come in here without me.
Yeah.
He's like, everybody knows who I am here. And he's like, and this is, is kind of why I'm at sometimes.
Which we learn is that's actually his house.
Yeah. At the end of this, so it's basically a one-way in, one-way out type of neighborhood. Houses just alongside and ends in just a giant cul-de-sac.
All the way at the end.
Yeah, and his house is all the way at the end, the deepest part of this bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where even Jake...
Where Terry Crews has the pigeons on the
Terry Crews,
He never even says a word.
He doesn't say a word.
He's just there.
There's an interview I saw on YouTube. He does an interview, I think with GQ or something like that. He talks about that movie, how just important it was just to be there on set every day and to see Denzel. And he was there so much, and he's such a big guy. And Antoine Fuqua was like, "Hey, do you want to be in the movie?" And he was like, "Well, heck yeah!" So
yeah.
He's not credited for it, but it's obviously him. He's the biggest dude, bald black dude. He flips pigeons, stuff like that. But yeah, he's Terry Crews in there. Love Terry Crews.
Oh yeah,
Nine-Nine. I mean, just everything that he does, I just love.
And Dr. Dre's in the movie too. He plays. They've just got a bunch of like bit characters.
It's like if I was,
Dr. Dre played Paul.
yeah, if I was making a movie, I would just try to get as many cool people as I would want to meet in it too.
Yeah.
I would ask Dre and Snoop as well.
It's so funny.
But yeah, so this place is very important because it's very dangerous. You do not want to go there. Maybe you have a place like that in your in your city or area, but like this is a place where cops do not go.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Alonzo does, but no other
Alonzo
cops.
does, yeah.
And Jake definitely is. He's on edge as soon as they get in there.
Yeah.
So we are introduced to his side girl, I think, Eva Mendes, his son.
Yeah.
And basically, Alonzo gets some afternoon delight while Jake eats some lunch and hangs out with his son, takes a little nap.
Yeah.
And then they go to...
Which is probably one of my favorite, like, little like... It's like a one shot where Jake wakes up and he's like, all right, man, I'll see you later, to the kid. Like, they're like buddies now. They were cuddling up for a nap, and they're just buddies now.
Yeah, his son. So he eats, and they're watching cartoons. And
yeah.
By the time Lonzo comes back, he sees Jake has fallen asleep, and his son is kind of...
Has to have been like
on him.
20, 30-minute nap, max.
Yeah, I mean...
And then they go see the Three Wise Men. And then after seeing the Three Wise Men, the reason why they had to go and see him was because Alonzo needed a warrant, an actual warrant. And so they grant him the warrant.
Which was gotten through bribe money.
Right, yes. Yeah. And which is something else that Alonzo mentioned at one point was that anything can be bought. And so he drops, I think it was like 30 grand.
Yeah, that
in the back of a car. And
yeah, 30. I think it was 40, but it was a lot of money.
Yeah,
for this warrant.
Yeah,
and another good moment that I really liked from that, he's like, what? He's like, Jake asks him. He's like, what? How did we get this warrant? He's like, do you really want to know? And he's like, yeah, I want to know. And then he tells him
like,
what it is.
Everything can be bought. And he was like,
I didn't want to know.
I really didn't want to know.
Man, and that's just so that literally sums up Jake's whole life in this movie. Yeah. Like he didn't want to know. Like he thought he wanted to be the guy and work with this guy. He didn't want to know.
No. But he keeps going. He keeps going with it because he's already there. He's already in.
And you got to think like what's going through his mind is like he's like this guy's he's done this forever. He's very well decorated and well respected. Obviously, he knows his street IQ is off the charts, and he's thinking about. I think the whole time, honestly, in the back of his head, he's thinking about his wife and kid. He wants to provide a good life for them. But I think he starts to pick up, as the day goes on, like this is a very life-threatening job situation he's in.
I think the answer to your question is that what's going on in the back of his head is the same thing that we all have in the back of our head. It's the same like moral conundrum in the Matrix is, do you want to know what has been hiding underneath you the entire time, or do you want to go back to your everyday life and not and pretend it doesn't exist?
Yeah.
We're faced with those in our lives every once in a while too, and we get to choose. Do you want to delve deeper into something that's unknown and learn something and probably get way too deep into it, or do you want to sit back and be comfortable?
Right. Yeah.
And
true.
Sometimes it's as cool as being able to dodge bullets in slow time, and sometimes it's smoking PCP out of your narc officer's car.
Yeah, your potentially future boss's car. Another thing, bro, what I like about it is there's so many cool themes. Like one of the themes that gets mentioned a lot and you pay attention to is everybody's calling Jay Coyne a rookie throughout the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Another thing is something Alonzo says throughout the movie.
Oh yeah, it was mentioned here.
He says, "You want to go to jail? You want to go home?"
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say the other one.
Oh,
which is to protect the sheep, you got to catch the wolf, and it takes a wolf to catch a wolf.
Yeah, you're just like, well, okay, I get it, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is another theme. He says,
"Yeah, do you want to go to jail, or do you want to go
to jail? You want to go home?" He says that to Snoop. I think he says that to. Who else does he say that to?
Everybody.
Yeah, the guys who are raping that girl. I think he says it to everybody. So, want to go to jail? You want to go home? So that's another thing. So, if full-time movie fans, thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you had a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We want to hang out and discuss the movie with you. So don't forget to do that below. Have a good one. I hope your day is everything you dreamed it to be and more.